let's move on, because it's been a big day in the Commons, and the Reform Five, this seems to be their branding now, the Reform Five made their grand entrance into Parliament today with what marks Nigel Farage's first day in the House of Commons. Here's what he had to say.
Brought tremendous dignity to the role as Speaker, so we absolutely endorse you entirely for this job. And it is, I must say, in marked contrast to the little man that was there before you and besmirched the office so dreadfully, in doing his best to overturn the biggest democratic result in the history of the country. We support you, sir, fully.
Who on earth could he be referring to, Ben?
I don't. Burko?
I think it might be, yes. Tom, you saw that, you heard it. The rolling of the eyes behind, the big sighs from some of the people in there. He's going to cause some trouble, isn't he, Nigel?
Yeah, I mean, he is the proverbial fox in the chicken coop, isn't he? But I have to say, you know, as a Democrat, it was good to see Nigel there. You know, he was elected by his constituents, so he's there representing them. But importantly, he was standing in a chamber, let's be frank, where probably 90% of those MPs, both those coming for the first time and those returning, voted Remain. And quite a lot of those MPs, including, by the way, dare I say, many of those are on the Labour front bench now in government, were part of that appalling 2017 to 2019 Parliament.
Just on that,
where
the whole cabinet are Remain voters, aren't they? The whole cabinet.
There isn't a single Brexit or avowed Brexit voter or you know, someone that supported Leave, as I did in 2016 from a Labour Party position. And that, I think, is actually one of the big stories of this election in many ways. And I think we can come on now to why Reform has got 5 MPs, is because you know, the British people have got very long memories. They do remember how desperate that Parliament was, actually, in terms of the shenanigans that went on, not just with the Speaker, but also with members of Parliament of different parties who sought to... Do you remember the Surrender Act? You know,
the Benn Act.
The
Hilary
bill,
Benn,
yeah,
who is now Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. That
was also called the Surrender Act, because... You know, I never thought, as someone that's a close watcher of British politics, that I would see a legislator literally pass a law that would set out on a piece of paper what the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom could say to the President of the European Commission when the British people had voted us out and we were in the Article 50 negotiations in order to properly get out with the withdrawal agreement. I thought that was a shocking episode. And
I note that Lee Anderson is going to be the chief whip of the party. Not too many MPs to whip into shape. I'm sure he can keep 5 MPs, including himself, on track.
He's quite a big, burly sort of bloke, so he'll be able to make sure they do what
they did a bit of a photo shoot. Here we go. They did a bit of a photo shoot, and bless him, Lee, he struggles with the old smile for the camera.
Yeah.
Struggles to give us a grin. But there you go, big thumbs up outside the palace there.
But I just want to come back to what Tom was saying. Absolutely right. Parliament has remained in contempt of the vote for Brexit ever since 2016. And the schism people often describe that is in British politics is between the left and the right. And they see Labour being returned in what they regard as a thumping way as the United Kingdom moving to the left. It isn't at all. Labour's vote in this election actually went down compared to 2019. It's just that those who believed in a sovereign, independent, proud, prosperous United Kingdom are so fed up with politics that many of them didn't come out, who would traditionally vote Conservative. They stayed at home. But there are some angry folk out there who are perhaps not as angry as I am, but pretty angry. And they came out and they voted Reform UK, and we got 4.1 million votes. Only 2.7 less than the Conservative Party, who got 20 24 times as many seats. And we got 600,000 more votes than the Liberal Democrats, and they got 72 seats.
Yes, I think considering the vote share versus the number of seats, there probably is quite a strong case to shake up our electoral system.
Can I just say one thing? Yeah.
Labour with a big majority now won't want to look at that. We're going to have to take a break very quickly. I'm going to get to some of your views on this because they're coming in over reform and Nigel Farage's comments. Alan's got something to say. I'll get to Alan straight after this. We're also going to be seeing Keir Starmer, who's heading off to Washington. He's given a bit of an interview. We'll be there in a second.